So what do you do when you find out that your dad isn't necessarily your dad at age 30 and your real dad died in an overdose in 2020? I could hear you in the background of the jingle going, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I say that is because, Tony, I bow to you right now. You have forever said that the Ancestry DNA or the 23andMe DNA is going to come back to bite people in the ass. You've been saying this since day one.
Yeah, 100%. And I've not been anti it either. I'm all about it. I think, fucking go and do it. There's other roads to go down where people be like, well, it could be used for biological weapons again. Yeah, it could. And if we get to that point, I don't really want to be around here anyhow. But
exactly. Yeah. Just nuke me. I'd like to be done at that point.
But for now,
I did it.
Yeah. For now, it's just kind of solving a lot of crimes and getting answers that, maybe you do want to know. And in some cases you don't.
Well, and if you get an opportunity to have a glimpse into maybe your health.
Yeah.
I know mine alerted me. God, when did I do it? Maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
It said, hey, chick, you need to pay attention to yourself because you are predisposed to diabetes.
Yeah.
And it opened my eyes. I started kind of looking, going, oh, shit. Well, duh. I knew that because my dad, my aunt, my brother, they are all horrific diabetics. So I knew that. But having that DNA thing like staring at me.
Yeah.
In print
and
was enough to,
and that,
exactly.
And I think it's great. I think that's amazing that we have this and it can be used for preventative things 100 ways. And I think that's all very positive. It then comes down to a personal level then too, I think sometimes where do I want to know the things that are likely going to kill me?
Right.
And I mean, just the idea. And I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's wonderful. You can get a test and see your likelihood of developing certain types of cancers and things of that can be very positive. But if you have a very anxious mind, like I do, that necessarily isn't the information you want to have constantly sitting in the back of your head. I mean, all of us are predisposed to, I think, develop all different types of cancers, basically because of our diet and environment. But at the same point, I don't know that I want to know, like, you got an 80% chance of developing this, because every fucking year, then, if I'm going in for a checkup, I'm going to be dreading that news. And it's going to be, and it's not just going to be like the day of I'm dreading it. It's going to be like the preceding 6 months leading up to it, going, oh my God, is this going to happen? Am I going to get this? Because I'm wondering if this lump is this or that, or is it just a fatty cyst or whatever. And then once you go in and you have it done, and then the day you leave your checkup and you get the all clear, you're like, oh shit, they didn't look at this though. I wish they would have looked at that. Now I got to wait another year. So for that 6 months, you're going to sit there and worry yourself to death. So I don't know. I mean, to a individual that does not deal with anxiety, I think it's probably great. It would really fuck with my mind. And I'm really at a place in my life where I don't know, because I'm at a place where I should probably, if I want to start, I'm 40 now, start looking at preventative and maybe getting some of that information now that it exists, that we can do these sort of things. But it's kind of a scary proposition. It really is. And it's a selfish one, but it is a scary proposition.
Well, but none of us know if we're going to walk outside to get the mail and a meteorite's going to drop on our head. So anything can take us out.
Yeah.
It might be nice to know, okay, so here's the path that I might have to go down. But if I can be careful going down that path, maybe that's some useful information. And that's where those DNA tests can come in. But I completely understand what you're talking about. I was like Pavlov's dog tapping my app once I had my blood work done a couple months ago. I'm like, I need these fucking results right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I mean, I had there's a little, I have like a little bump on my neck, and it started just as like, it was like a pimple or something that I, popped, and But that was years ago. And then it just kind of, I kept, I pick at things and then I pick at it. And then, you get scar tissue eventually if you keep fucking with something. And so now I fucked with it so much that there's like, it, kind of stands out a little bit. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, if I can pop it. There's nothing to pop. It's fucking scar tissue. But all my hand will end up there and I'll be kind of fucking with it. And then it'll kind of get angry. So I got that, like I was at the doctor last year and they're like, it's just whatever. So I say this all the time. It's nothing. This is that. Like, okay. And then I'll believe that for a while. And then I'll be like, was it getting bigger? And then they finally did a sonogram on it this year because I pushed him on it. I'm like, he's like, well, it's bothering you. Yes. So we did it. Again, it was exactly what they said it was.
But you needed that peace of mind that it's nothing.
I did. Yeah. But then they're always like, but if it keeps getting bigger or it'll, it's like,
or
so
if
there
it
is
changes in size rapidly. Yeah.
I know. So it's like, okay, but
always hanging over you.
Always. I don't like shit hanging over me. It's the not knowing. But the thing is, what I'm arguing is not knowing. It's like, I'd rather not know. But would I rather, I don't know. There's a different level of knowing. Anyway, I got off topic there.
It's okay. Yeah. All right. So this story, wow, this is intense. It says, I took an ancestry DNA test back when I was 21. I'm 30 now. I received a message from a family member who has since passed asking me how we were connected. So dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. Our results show that she is my first aunt and we share 31% of DNA. She nor her daughter, who also took a DNA test and shows as my first cousin, outright told me that they believe my biological father is related to them. So my aunt's brother, my cousin's uncle. I recently opened the site and checked my messages only to see that my aunt has since passed and her daughter reached back out to me. She shared that her and her mother resolved that I'm likely the biological child of one of my mom's brothers, who is a veteran, but who recently passed because of an overdose. I was shocked. I don't look like any of my other siblings. I always felt like the oddball. I confronted my mom, and she became very upset and defensive. She denied it and feels those people shouldn't have reached out. My cousin shared a picture of my alleged half-sister who looks very similar to me. It's such a weird feeling, and I'm not sure how to describe how I feel. My mom says she thought my dad, who raised me, was my biological father and that she didn't know. I don't believe her, but I told her I forgive her. I'm still frustrated. I'm still coming to terms with everything. I think I'm at a point where I'm suppressing what happened to protect myself emotionally. I don't know if I should pursue getting a DNA test to confirm or if I should just move on.
She shared that her mother resolved that I'm likely a biological child of one of her mother's brothers. Okay.
Yeah, that almost sounded incestuous.
For a second there, I was like,
wait a minute, what?
Yeah, because I was like, well, was there like a rape thing? And then,
right.
And she didn't want to ever admit it. I don't know. But no, I get it. It was likely, well, and that very well could be. I mean, I get mom maybe not want, anybody to know about it. And the person who raised you, at the end of the day, that's the person who raised you. And that's your father. So that doesn't ever really take that away. We're talking about DNA and genes. And yes, it's interesting and good and probably healthy to know those sort of things. But your family is really who you make it. There's plenty of people related by DNA where it's like you want nothing to fucking do with them and they're nothing like you and it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, you got to think, not all these things are fucking rocket science. People are people. If you have friends in, just living life, just think of some of the promiscuous shit that you or your friends have done and you hear about, and then you're like, but my mom, yeah, guess what? They're fucking people too. And in more ways than one. I admit they're fucking people. They're not literally fucking people. They're fucking people as well.
They're fucking people.
Literally. I was not trying to make it sound like that, but it works both ways. And they, that sometimes made poor decisions and maybe slept around a little bit and maybe didn't want to get caught or this or that. It is. And yeah. And the result of that is, usually human beings being born but it's not, movie of the week. It just could be, somebody, cheated or slept around or whatever, and it happened. And that's that. And
Yeah.
DNA doesn't necessarily lie as well as family members.
And I understand wanting to know. I get that. But I guess if you're going to reach out and maybe meet some of these people who are actually your biological family, I'm not sure I would share it with your mom, because it sounds like your mom's not ready for that information. She doesn't want that in her life. She's denying it. So if you need to pursue that, go do it privately.
Yeah.
And stop sharing the information with your mom. She's not ready to deal with the truth.
And she didn't ask for it either. Maybe,
Exactly.
she kind of has peace with it. And maybe legitimately she didn't know. And, you're raised, he's dead. Maybe, it's just, it doesn't need to affect her anymore. And, if she just says, we're good. This doesn't have anything to do with you and me. It kind of does.
It does. But if, like you said, she's at peace with it, whatever will be, she's fine. But if you need to pursue it,
yeah.
I think you can.
Sure.
I think you can do it. Just be polite and respectful of your mom's apparent aversion to it, and do it privately. Go meet these people if you need to.
There's so much weird shit you'll find if you do a DNA test. I do caution people when they do this. I think it was interesting. I've never dived into the results other than just looking at them. I've not started reaching out to people, but there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of similar DNA or shared DNA. I have no idea who the fuck these people are. And it's okay, well, somebody somewhere has some children that nobody knew about. And that's it. But who? And, I suppose if you dug deep enough, you could figure that all out. But I don't know that I necessarily want to, because, in my personal world, in my personal family, everybody gets along pretty well. There's not really drama, which I love. So I don't really want to bring drama to anything when people have seemed to gone their own paths and everything is, working out okay.
Yeah, it's a good point. And, it's interesting. There's some really cool stuff. I just opened up my 23andMe while you were talking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in here that might be useful, but they're, other than, finding out that your dad may not be your dad, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I have more cousins and stuff where it's I don't know how are we related? Whose child are you? So I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of DNA relatives, second cousins that have popped up, a ton of second cousins, 20 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of these people in my life. I've never met them. There's maybe one or two that have a last name that is familiar to me.
Yeah.
But some of these people, it's I have no idea who you are.
Yeah.
None.
And there's, people, like I said, people have lived their lives. Can you imagine how fucked up the tree is going to be for the family and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of somebody like Nick Cannon or something? Where it's dad just kind of fucked everybody and made kids everywhere he wanted to go. It's just, there's a lot to try and unpack there. But people do that. People, it is what it is. So,
it's fascinating.
It is. And you may end up discovering, you have all these family members that you didn't ask for and you really still don't want.
And by the way, I have the muscular structure of an Olympic athlete.
Huh?
Seriously.
You do?
I do.
How is that?
Oh, listen to how shocked you sound, you asshole.
Well, no, but what type of athlete? Because I can see it for things that shorter people are involved in that are, really, you need someone of a shorter stature to be fucking amazing at.
Yeah, like a gymnast, which I used to be a very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
But it says that my muscle structure is the same kind that's very common in Olympic athletes. I am not athletic at all. So to me, I just chuckle at that and go, okay, thank you. Then Tony's over there laughing. Listen to that. He's like, I know her. She's no Olympic athlete.
Well, you've always been you've always been a slim woman. So I could see that. I just trying to think like, well, what is the sport? So it's like gymnast. I was assuming they're probably speaking more in things like that more than like, is there horse racing? Because I could see you being good at that too.
Oh, I could totally be a jockey if I weren't so fucking afraid of horses.
Sure. That's a new career path for you. Like,
I never thought of that.
Just going to go be a jockey.
There you go.
If you have a crazy family story that you want to share with us, please do write in on our website at crazyfampod.com, or you can call it in 24/7 at 833-272-9326. Listen to all of our stories commercial free on Apple Podcasts. Just subscribe there. Even try it for 3 days free and binge away right now.
That crazy and insane, my crazy family.